Imagine finally saving up for your dream house only to discover 33% of your payment isn't for the house, it's vanishing into taxes and fees. What if I told you this hidden cost is bankrupting builders and leaving families like you stranded? Stick around, we are exposing why Canada's housing market is in crisis and why it's about to get worse. Today, we are breaking down the 5 factors that are destroying Canada's housing supply, from 900% spike in the development charges to the labor shortage that will leave your future house in the limbo. If you care about affordability, you cannot afford to miss this one. Hello, my name is Parth and I'm a realtor based in Ontario. I help families and investors like you to get into the real estate market. Builders and developers are encountering a series of challenges that are making it increasingly difficult to meet the housing demands of our nation. From soaring construction costs to policy shift, we will explore factors contributing to the crisis and discuss potential solutions for it. Now let's check out all the factors that is contributing to this then. Now, according to StatCan data, in the late 2024, building houses in Canada become more expensive. In the fourth quarter of 2024, the cost to build home went up by 0.8% increase, following a 0.9% increase from the previous quarter. In Regina, cost rose to almost 2.5%, and Calgary, they went up by 1.8%. This upward trajectory is attributed to several factors. The very first one in this we have is the material cost. The imposition of tariffs on essential building materials such as softwood, lumber, gypsum board has significantly increased. With over 70% of this material imported from Canada to US, tariffs have led a regional price increase, especially in the northeast and midwest region of the US, subsequently affecting Canadian market as well. Now, since the start of pandemic in Q1 of 2020, Canadian real estate construction price index has risen 51%, well outpacing the CPI, that is the consumer price index, which is up by 13%. Now, key building materials including concrete and steel are up 55% and 53% from Q1 of 2020. The second factor in this one we have is the labor shortage. The industry continues to face skilled labor shortage, leading to rising labor rates. Builders have reported ongoing cost pressure from this shortage, compounding by building codes as well. And also, land availability constraints make this even harder. We will discuss this more in detail in the later part of this video, as I think it's very crucial. Now, the third one in this one is the regulatory changes, like updates to building codes and energy efficient standards, while beneficial in a longer term, have increased the upfront construction cost. And these regulatory changes require builders to adapt new standard, often necessitating them additional investment in very upfront, considering like training and material change in this whole process. And the cumulative of this factor have strained developers' budget, leading to project delays, and also in some cases we have seen cancellation of the whole development or the whole. The financial viability of new projects is increasingly in question as profit margin is eroded by the rising cost. Now, immigration has historically been a cornerstone of Canada's population growth and economic vitality as well. However, recent policy shift has introduced new challenges. The very first one in this one we have is the policy changes. In October of 2024, the Canadian government announced a significant reduction in immigration targets, planning to admit 395,000 new PR residents, that is a new permanent residents, in 2025, down from 485,000 target of 2024. Now, this decision surely aims to alleviate pressure on housing and social services, but has raised concern about potential labor shortages. The second one in this one are the economic implications. Now, industry leaders are concerned that the reduced immigration could dampen economic growth, and it could also worsen the labor shortages, particularly in the sector which is heavily reliable on immigrant workers. And this anticipated decline in the labor pool may lead to increased competition for skilled workers, driving up the wages and further inflating. The next one in this one we have is the housing demand. While policy intends to ease housing demand, an immediate effect may be a slowdown in housing market activity. Now, fewer immigrants mean reduced demand for the new housing, potentially leading to an oversupply in certain markets and affecting the financial projections of ongoing planned projects. Now, let's talk about the very big challenge, that is the challenges in a condo sales right now. The condominium market, especially in urban centers in cities like Toronto and Vancouver, is experiencing notable difficulties. Now, typically, a builder needs to sell 70% of their units to start the construction process, and for a while now, not many builders are able to do that or achieve it. And this leaves people in dilemma, and you might be seeing so many new ads about the new pre-construction project coming up, but very few are coming on the ground, as most of them are not able to achieve their targeted sales number to start the construction. The other factor in this particular category we have is the oversupply issue. In the first half of 2024, the GTHA area, that is the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area, experienced its slowest new condo sales in 27 years, with only 6,792 units sold, 51% drop from 2023 average. The next one is the investor retreat. Now, many investors who previously fueled the condo market who are reassessing their position due to the rising cost regulatory changes. Now, this retreat has led to increased inventory level with housing markets in Vancouver, where inventory has risen by 39% compared to the last 10 years. So it's already surpassed the last 10-year average. The next one in this one is the affordability concern. Now, higher prices have priced out many potential buyers, leading to decreased demand. The combination of elevated cost, reduced buyer interest have created a challenging environment for developers, with some projects being postponed or cancelled completely. The next in this one we have is an increase in development charges. Now, development charges are the fees imposed by municipalities to fund infrastructure and services and have significant height in the past couple of years. So we have seen escalating fees like since 2010, while inflation has grown by 41%, these charges have jumped over 900% in Toronto. Now, here is a quick comparison of all the data, like what we have seen in just like past in couple 2 years, like in August of 2022 versus June of 2024. If you see over here, we have singles and condos. So single detached house in August of 2022, the development charges was roughly about $93,978, whereas 2 years later, in less than 2 years actually, in about 2 years later, it's 137,000. So that's an increase of 43,000 just in one tax that is done by government. The next one we have is a condo. In August of 2022, we have $38,968 going for the development fees for the condo of one bedroom. Right now, in June of 2024, we have 57,000, and that's an increase of $18,000. And guess what? All these development fees are passed on to the new buyers, that is you. For developers, higher fees means increased project cost, which can deter new projects, new development projects, and strain profit margin. Now, let's also talk about regional variations. While urban centers face substantial charges, suburban and rural may have lower fees. However, these regions are often grappled with other challenges such as limited infrastructure and longer approval time, which can offset the benefit of lower development charges. Now let's talk about the skilled labor shortage and the wage increases. Very first in this one we have is the wage inflation. Now, to attract and retain a limited pool of skilled worker, companies are offering higher wages. Now here is a chart from RBC that is a proof point. Now it shows over here like labor wages, like the cost of construction went up 51% since the start of pandemic that we have already discussed. But if we see over here, like the growth in Canadian real estate construction prices surges past CPI. Now, this is 151 and the CPI is 130. Now, if you see over here, construction wage growth soars over other industry. In all other industry, we have seen 4.6% increase in the wages growth, while in construction, it's more than double at 9.4%. Now, let's also talk about training initiatives. Like in response to this, there is a push towards apprenticeship and programs training facilities to develop newer talents. However, this initiative often requires time to yield result as it's a long-term goal, and in the interim, labor shortage continues to pose challenges to project completion and also cost. And the last one in this category are the interest rate and the increased borrowing capacity, which are costing more, and the fluctuating interest. Now, the fluctuating interest rate have direct implication for the real estate sector. Let's talk about the rising borrowing. Now, despite recent interest rate cut, Bank of Canada higher bond yield means mortgage renewals will still be expensive and potentially limiting household spending and risking broader financial stability. Now in this one, we also have like impact on developers. Like elevated borrowing cost can deter new projects, but inflation may keep material and labor on an upward trajectory. Now, should the Bank of Canada lower interest rate in 2025, demand for construction may rise, putting an additional strain on resources and driving up. Thank you so much for joining me in exploring the challenges faced by Canadian builders and developers. Now, if you find this discussion insightful, please like this video and share this with your friends and colleagues and to spread awareness. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.